I'm very excited about who we're going to be talking to today. This is an amazing young woman. She is just, she is doing the doggone thing and has a very, how can I say it, a spiritual story. And I mean that from what she's learned through this journey. So I'm going to just read, she's written this book. She's written a book. And I'm just going to read a little bit of that before I bring her on so that you can kind of have a framework, a path that you'll be able to walk down with us. The book is called Jenny and Me, and it's a reflection of what God can do. Abuse is damaging. It comes from cycles of abusive behaviors learned and repeated through generations. Because of shame and embarrassment, many people do not speak about the cruelty they endure. In my case, most of the abuse I suffered resulted from my mother's mental illness. For my entire life, people told me to excuse my mom's abuse because she was mentally ill. However, mental illness does not give anyone the right to abuse you, in particular your child. Jenny had a childhood paranoia, schizophrenia, with the multiple personality disorders. She lived in Buffalo State Hospital through her adolescent years. When released from the hospital, she had me. She was 26, and my dad was 30 years older. My mother was white. My father was black. As a child, I struggled with mixed heritage. My mom would tell me that white people did not like me because I was black. Even from a religious standpoint, I was raised as a Catholic and Baptist. On Sundays, my mom and I attended Mass without my father and Baptist service with him. I was always felt like I had to choose. Was I black? Was I white? Was I Catholic? Was I Baptist? My mom told me her side of the family disliked my dad because he was black, and my dad's side of the family disliked my mom because she was white. Here I was stuck in the middle. I share my life story with the word through God's glory. My story is about how faith enabled me to overcome extraordinary struggles, pain, and loss. Faith, hope, and forgiving the unforgivable through prayer and trusting in God are the keys to healing. Beautiful. And so with that, I want to bring on the line my dear friend, a very gifted young woman, someone that I met, I think, in a different lifetime, and we've reconnected, but I feel this bond, and so important for me to have her speak to you and share her story, because she knows, like I know, so many of the things that people are going through, this pain, this struggle, this hurt, these difficulties, start from that, from not being able to grieve a loss, whatever that may look like. And so, Christine Walters, are you out there?
Yes, I am. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm so honored to be on your show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to talk to you, and I don't even have the words right now. I'm so moved by that, and I know that we were chatting earlier, and you said you were a little nervous. Don't be nervous. It's just you and me here. And tell me about just how you got to the point where you are now, being able to write about your mom and the things that you've gone through.
Sure. Well, I want to say that I started writing this book in 2006, and my mother was alive at the time when I was writing it. I've always felt that I wanted to tell my story and write a book, even when I was in my teens. And I don't want to make this sound bad because it's not on my mom, but I always had this feeling where I knew one day it would happen, but I couldn't really do it until she passed away because her mental illness was so severe, she may have taken it the wrong way. And by not any means at all, I didn't want to, disrespect my mother, or I didn't want her to feel embarrassed or anything about the things that I felt or what I was going to say in my book. But I also feel that there's so many people that my story and my mother's story could help. And because of her mental illness, I don't think that she was able to see that. So around in 2006, I just started putting my notes down. I actually started by hand, and I got a notebook, and I just started writing and jotting down little things and prayers and poems. And I ended up putting it on my laptop, and I just said, I'm going to do this. And I was in school. A lot of things happened. I've had surgery. I was in class, and in 2008, after a major surgery I said, well, you know what, I can't get out of bed, so I might as well start my classes and start really pumping down on this book. And I did that, and it was hard, but I got through it. And I was a little nervous when it was time to publish the book, because at that time my mom had already passed, and I didn't, I wish she was alive so that I know she knows, and that she's with God, and we forgave each other, and we made up, and I think about her every day, and I have to say that because of her mental illness, we did not have a great relationship. And I had a lot of abuse and dysfunction in my family, and I never thought that her death would bring me to a place where I didn't even know that I could get out of the bed. I didn't even know that I was going to be able to make it. I mean, it was hard on me. And right now I'm a lot better, and I realize that I have to accept God's plan, and, He's her child, as He's all of ours. We belong to Him. So I had to accept that, and I had to be okay by letting go. And so that's what I did, and I wanted to write the book because I wanted people to read my story, read about how her mental illness affected my life, and how it came across over when I had my children. Because abuse is damaging, and it affects all of us, not just with mental illness, but whatever, there's behavioral issues that even we could have, or our parents could have, and that we seem to sometimes carry over our core issues down the line to the next generation. And some of the things that happen to us, I find I've came into cross with certain people, and it's hard to talk about. It's embarrassing. So I shared some stories that I've been through that are embarrassing, hoping that whoever reads my book may see, if this person could talk about this right here, this topic, and this is an embarrassing topic, then maybe I can come out and I can share my story, because healing is important.
Christine, that's just beautiful, and I can sense, I'm just feeling exactly what you're saying. It's just coming through. You're still working through the grief and putting it on paper, and writing it down and sharing it with the world is so beneficial, not only for you, but I know it's going to be beneficial for others as well. So Thank you for sharing. That's bravery and courage to be able to step out there and walk this faith walk that you're walking, to be able to help others and help heal others. So that's important. That's exactly what I tell everyone when they tune in us. That's why I started off with, are you journaling? Are you writing down everything that you said that you were going to do? We kind of do this exercise every time we start the show, and so thank you for that. So people can hear that others are doing it too. So let me just ask you about Chapter 5 was very touching, but on page 4 in Chapter 5, you talk about becoming angry with God. And around that time in your mom's transition, can you talk to us a little bit about why you were angry and
yes,
how you dealt with that?
I was angry because of guilt. I left Fort Myers. I was married very young, and I left my mom, and I moved here in the Washington, D.C. metro area around 1996. And, with my mom's mental illness, it took a toll on me, and I did not want my children to have to endure the abuse that I did. I kind of felt like, for me, I'm her daughter, but these are my children now, and I have control over what happens to them. So I moved away, and, I kind of felt like And to be honest, I didn't want to take care of my mom with her mental illness. It was too much on me. And when she was passing, I got so angry with God because I carried this guilt in me. We actually, I want to say about maybe a year before she passed away, we had a conversation, and she had told me that she understands why God did what he did, and I moved so far away because the distance kind of, actually being further away from her, we had a better relationship than me being right there with her. And that helped me, but then again, it didn't help me because I felt like, God, I'm supposed to be there for my mom. I'm supposed to take care of her. How selfish of me not wanting to do this, And so now she's passing, and I had plans. I had planned to, there was a house for sale next to her, and I had planned to, I'm going to buy this house. I'm going to move back. My marriage was not working out, and I was getting a divorce, and I'm like, fine, okay, God, this is my plan. This is what I'm going to do. But then God showed me, no, that's not what's going to happen. And I didn't like God's plan. I'll be honest. At the time, I didn't like God's plan. It hurt. God's plan hurt. And I had to accept it. And when I got the call, I was at work, and literally I got a call saying that my mother was not doing well. She was actually going in for a follow-up appointment for her. She had diabetes, and she was going in just for a follow-up appointment. It was a Tuesday. And I got a call back in about 30 minutes from the doctor's office stating that, we're just going to evaluate her some more. We really don't know what's going on with your mom, but we're going to run some more additional tests. We'll call you on Friday. Hour goes by, and they're asking me to come to hospice. They don't know what's wrong with her, but they did some blood work, and she's passing. And to hear I don't know didn't set well with me. And I just kind of freaked out, and everything happened so fast. I flew to Fort Myers, made it there. I thought I was not going to make it there on time, but I did. And by the time I got there, she wasn't opening up her eyes, and I brought her Christmas gift with me because I had said to myself, okay, God, I had this plan. I'm buying the house next door to her, and I'm going to spend Christmas with her, and this is what it's going to be. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to take care of her. So I bring my Christmas gifts. She was into crosses, and she loved her favorite color was blue, which is why the book is blue. And I bring the cross with me, and I laid it on her heart, by her chest, and I'm crying, and she was in a lot of pain. And I just started getting so angry. I'm like, God, how could you do this? I run to the chapel. I'm like, my mother suffered. She had a very hard life. I think, just reading the story that you did on the back of my book, my mother actually stayed, I believe she was 9 years old until the age of around 25, 26 years old in the Buffalo State Hospital. So she had a hard life, and even when she had me, and I was back and forth in foster care, my life with her, just growing up with her was very hard. So I was like, God, why is she suffering? She suffered all her life. The nurses had told me that they gave her all the medicine that they could. And I'm like, why are you doing this? And I was screaming to God in the chapel. And God has a way of speaking to us, through other people sometimes. And when I left, I went back in her room, and I'll never forget there was a nurse who was sitting there, and she starts telling her story about a passing of her of her son and her mother and her father, all within 6 months, and how angry she was at God. And I was thinking, actually, in my head, I looked at her, and I was thinking to myself, God, I don't want to hear this right now. I just don't want to hear this. But I listened to the nurse's story, and it softened my heart, and I realized, we all go through things, and someone else's story is always worse. And, I can't be angry with God because I have no right to be angry with God. He gives us all life, and he has the right to take our life. And even though I knew that then, the anger did not subside quickly, I would have to say. It took some time for that to kind of go away. After about a year after she passed, I was at home one day, and it just hit me that, God did give me what I want. I did spend Christmas with her. It's not the way that I wanted. It's the way He chose to, but I did spend Christmas with her, and I was able to give her her Christmas gift. And, it's just, I think grief, well, I don't think I know grief and loss is hard on all of us. And I just came to a conclusion where accepting my mother's death, I lost other things in my life too that were really hard at the same time when my mom passed. Accepting those things and knowing that God had something better in store and know that this is God's will made it easier when I prayed, and it just made it easier for me to heal. There's not a day that doesn't go by that my mom doesn't cross my head, but what's different now from before is the tears aren't falling. I can smile. I can think of her and think of a memory and know she's with Jesus, and I smile. As before, I was a little angry and I was hurting. The one thing I will say, I think we talked about this when we chatted earlier, is that how sometimes in life things happen to us that are so bad, the more trouble that we have makes us drop on our knees, because I always prayed, but it wasn't until everything happened all at once, it wasn't until then that I was on my knees praying. And I'm never off my knees praying. Now, every morning the first thing I do is I get on my knees, and the first communication I have is with God in the morning before I do anything. Before I didn't do that, so I do realize the things that have happened and the loss and the grief made my relationship with God much stronger, and I'm growing every day more spiritual.
Yeah. Oh, Christine, beautiful. So, in the time that we have left, oh my goodness, it's gone so quickly. We're going to have to do this again, right? We're going to have to. But in the time that we have left, can you just talk a little bit about how did you, or let me put it like this, the struggle. How do you let go of that struggle? When you know that you want more, how can you do better so that you can have a better life? And what are those steps that you think you can share here that folks can take away from just what you shared with us today?
Well, I pray a lot, and when you talk about a journal, I don't have a journal, but what I do have is a little notebook, and I talk to God a lot through writing. And I just feel like I have a better one-on-one conversation with prayer and also with writing in my little book. And I feel like I can hear Him clearer and better when I do that. So I'll write down things that I know I want to change and better for me so it can better my kids, because our kids look at us no matter what age they are. They're always looking at us and to see how we're living our life. And because of the things that happen in my life and abuse, there are certain things, for instance, to give you an example, name calling. My mother would always call me the B word, and it affected me a lot. She always did this. That was my name more than Chris. And that is something that I said I was not going to carry over, that generational curse, to my children. I didn't want to do that and call them out their names. And I said if I ever did, that God deal with me accordingly and help me change that, because sometimes we want to change things, but it's a process. It takes time, and that doesn't mean that we're going to pray and say, hey, God, please help me with this one situation, and tomorrow morning you're never going to do it again. So there's certain things we can change immediately. There's certain things that take a long time to change, and the things, I try to work on the small things first because it's easier. The long-term things I just pray more about and ask God to, bring the right people in my life, surround me with the people who care about me, who love me, and remove the people who don't, and open the doors that need to be open, shut the doors that need to shut, and help me see my steps to where I need to go. You take the wheel, you guide my direction, Lord. Show me what I need to do, because I need you, and there's times I need you right now, and that's for me, that's what I do to help me do better and be better. And sometimes people will tell me, people who really know me will say, Chris, I can tell there's a difference in you than it was a couple months ago. Or last year you did this and, you're not doing that same thing like that no more. Or I process things differently. Because God showed me, too, renewing of the mind is something that does need to be done. And it takes a long time to do, but do it little by little to accomplish the goal that you need. Because the renewing of the mind helps with not just your thoughts, but your whole body. You are what you think. And especially with abuse, if someone who's always called you a name or been verbally abusive to you, emotionally abusive, when those thoughts, like especially if I'm driving to work and I have a thought that comes to me, now this is what works for me. I do this little thing where I chant to myself and I'll say, good thoughts, if I have to sing it. And I notice for some reason my mind goes right onto something else that is positive. And I did that little technique for me, and it works for me. I think whatever it is for someone, you have to take on. Some people are into notes, and so if you have to post notes up, early in the morning to your mirror and always look at that note or that slogan that you might choose to read every day, whatever works for you that can give you a positive thought and can move forward, or if it's a certain prayer, I think whatever it is you need to do, because it helps your thoughts, it helps you do better, think better, feel better.
Yeah, perfect. That's what we talk about too, Christine. So I just want you to know that when I'm talking out, I'm on the circuit, or I'm in session, when I'm doing group, or even with my coaching clients, I always speak about your thoughts and your words have energy, and it's a frequency. So whatever you say that is negative to yourself or about yourself, or the negative things that you think, you attract more of that and so much more of that. So learning how to change that mindset. And so thank you for saying that as well, because that's just confirmation. And so I also wanted just to put out there, you are working on having your book turned into a movie.
Yes, I am. I'm trying my best.
That's exciting. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's one of the desires of my heart for my book to be turned into a movie and actually be aired around Christmas time or the month of May for Mental Health Awareness on Mother's Day, because for those readers who probably have not read my book, my mother was buried on Mother's Day weekend, and she passed away at the Christmas holiday. And with grief and loss, when holidays come, especially around the holiday season, any holiday, we tend to, people who have lost a loved one tend to grieve more. And, some people don't want to celebrate the holidays anymore, or celebrate their birthday, or celebrate Christmas anymore. And I feel that turning my book into a movie, an inspirational movie, can just help so many people. My book is not for everybody. No book isn't. But it is for those who are hurting, or those for the mostly wounded, who can just want an inspirational story, who feel like, what, I just can't do this anymore. And sometimes listening to someone else has went through and how they went through things and they came out the end and there's light at the end of the tunnel gives you hope to keep striving and to keep pushing and not to give up. So I really hope that if it's in God's will that my book gets turned into a movie. I'm starting to, I'm actually on Indiegogo right now because I'm trying to raise money to do a book trailer and then a screenplay. So I hope Hollywood picks it up, but if not, I'm going to try to work on doing an independent film and see how everything goes from there.
Perfect. Well, I'm wishing you all the best and success, and I know it's going to happen for you. Just you speak that love, you speak that light. So I know this is going to happen for you. And who would play you, Christine?
Oh my gosh.
You.
I don't know. Who do you think should play me? I don't. You know what? I never thought about who would play me. So whoever plays me, I don't know. I don't know what to say off of that one. I don't know.
You mean I stumped you?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said I stumped you. I got you. You're fading.
Hello.
So, Christine, how can, if someone wanted to, well, I know you're just going to be getting a whole lot of attention. I know you are. How can people reach out to you, especially if they want to donate?
If they go to my website, there's a lot of information. It's www.authorchristinewalters.com. If they want to send me a personal email, it's authorchristinewalters@gmail.com. And also I have a fan Facebook page. I'm easy to find. If you put in author Christine Walters on any Google or Yahoo, on any social media, I'm easy to pull up. Indiegogo, you just need to put in my name, Christine Walters, and it comes right up for faith and hope, forgiving the unforgivable.
Perfect. So give it to us one more time, the website.
The website is the website is www.authorchristinewalters.com. And my email address is authorchristinewalters@gmail.com.
Well, Christine, we have run out of time. I'm definitely going to have you back, especially when we launch Grief and Loss Workshop coming up in October. So definitely want you to be here for that. You're not too far away, so people can come out and meet you. We're going to do a community grouping, and so definitely whatever we can do to assist you here in getting the word out, we will post all your information to our fan page on Facebook and also on our website at Living Life and Midlife Radio. And folks, if you want to reach out and you know that you need some help, or you know someone that has lost someone and they're grieving, stress is a huge part of grief. If you're not grieving a loss properly, the stress that can entail on your life is insurmountable. So please, if you know someone that needs help, please reach out to us. We can get you the resources, point you in the right direction. I know Ms. Walters she's terribly busy, but I'm sure it's on her heart. This is her gift. This is her passion, what she's doing to help to give back. Just reach out to her. She gave you her email and her website, and if you need it again, reach out to us, and we'll make sure that we'll make contact. Please beware, be cognizant, and she's so busy, and it's just her. So it might take a little bit for her to get back to you, but she promises to get back to everyone that reaches out to her in some form or fashion. 1-888-498-3190 is how you reach us here at Living Life and Midlife Radio, and we can connect you with Christine Walters from her book, Jenny and Me, Reflections of What God Can Do, and we wish you much success on making that movie of your story come to life. Christine, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Folks, we will see you back here. Happy fall. Keep journaling. Keep doing your wish boxes. Get those vision boards together. And until we meet again, live life vibrantly. This is Pia King.
You're listening to Living Life and Midlife Radio with your muse coach, Pia King. Living Life and Midlife is all about helping people meet that fork in the road and making a decision to take the path that will encourage, motivate, and inspire them to create their most vibrant life today. On the amazing Women of Power Network, powered by Raven International.
Music is more than just beats the dance floor. It's like we can pour